A spike in murders here in Jacksonville has families on alert. The city's newly formed task force on safety and crime reduction is ramping up efforts to reduce the violence. Tonight on Your Side's Eric Alvarez explains just how serious the problem is and what city and community leaders are now going to do about it.
Between January 1st and March 1st last year, there were 15 murders in Jacksonville, according to JSO numbers. In that same time frame this year, there have already been 27 murders, and that is an increase of 80%. While officers respond to the immediate problem on the streets, investigating shootings after the smoke clears, inside City Hall, the Task Force on Safety and Crime Reduction is looking to prevent shootings in the months to come.
We're trying to look at this problem in a broader perspective.
Pastor Mark Griffin heads up the task force that was formed in December. It's a citizen-led effort that makes recommendations to the City Council on how to best coordinate programs and funding for safety and crime reduction initiatives. But how can meeting in a boardroom stop gun violence on the streets? By paving the way for better access to things like mentoring, education, and workforce training. Just a few of the 9 elements the task force is tackling.
State your name.
This week, the group broke off into subcommittees, holding meeting after meeting at City Hall.
But we're off to a good start.
Tom Geismar is the chair of the Workforce Training Subcommittee.
I think when we look at the news every day and we see what's going on around the city and the number of lives that are being lost to crime and violence, it's something we all need to be very concerned about and have a great sense of urgency to do something about.
But Griffin warns urgency shouldn't overshadow the need to implement the right solutions, a process that could take months.
There are a lot of people, their loved ones are dying.
Right.
And they're saying, we want answers now. What do you say to them?
Although we're very saddened by what we're seeing currently, our focus and our job is to make sure we get to the underlying factors.
As the task force looks for long-term solutions, the city of Jacksonville continues to face short-term problems. In the meantime, if the trend of murders in Jacksonville continues, this city will likely see the highest number of murders in the last 10 years. Eric Alvarez, First Coast News, on your side.